Today's video we're going to be talking about trapping baits, lures, what worked for me, what didn't work, what was my favorite, and what I had the most catches on. So stick around, stay tuned, I hope you enjoy the video. Let's go, baby! Jump again, baby! Alright, well, I'm really hoping that the wind blowing doesn't mess with the audio of this video because I can't hear it until I start editing it. First off, I really like carrying my baits and lures inside these Lucky Buck buckets. I use Lucky Buck every spring, a lot during the year for my deer, for antler growth, but they make really good bait buckets as well. Mainly because they have a little rubber seal at the top of it. It's right here, so you can't see it. It's a clear rubber seal, so when you put the traps or the bait in here, it gets rubber sealed. That doesn't stink up the back of your truck as bad, and it also keeps the the bait labels and stuff from getting messed up from the rain. So this tub here, I actually have all of my scat in that I pick up from Catch Circle. So it's got coyote scat. I put them in glass jars, mason jars, and then I also have a unused thing of rage bait right here. So we're gonna keep pulling out some stuff, and then I'll talk about it as we get there. But my dog's getting interested. But coyote scat, y'all see me use this stuff all the time in trap sets. So I'm not gonna really spend too much time on that. So let's move on to the next bucket. All right, so the next bucket we got right here. What is this? That is empty. That's what that is. This is an old thing of Terminator by Cavens. I use it a lot with raccoons. Found that the other raccoon bait that I used worked a whole lot better. So let me get all this stuff out real quick, then we'll talk about it. All right, so here is everything that I used this year. Let's start off with baits and go through that really easily. Y'all know what this is. This is Cavens Hiawatha Valley. It's my favorite bait that I use. It's absolutely my favorite bait, 100%. So Cavens Hiawatha Valley, Dunlap Lures, Time of Death bait, which I picked up this year, really like it. Dunlap Lures, Soul Taker bait, really like it. Top Dog Predator bait, regular. Then we've got Top Dog Predator bait Arctic, the label's just worn off of it. And then this one is, this is a bait a buddy of mine made. Not gonna talk about that one. Then we also have No BS Lures, this is Arcade's Predator bait. And yeah, and then Dunlap Lures Rage. So that's all the baits that I used this year. That is literally it right there in front of you. That is all that I used this year. What worked the best for me out of everything here for coyotes, Hiawatha Valley, Time of Death. Yeah, I can't scoot it too far. Hiawatha Valley, Time of Death, and then Top Dog. Oh no. And then the No BS Lures and Soul Taker. That is what worked the best for me. So yeah, Soul Taker, Dunlaps, but if I had to pick two, it's gonna be Hiawatha Valley and Time of Death bait. Those are my two most productive baits that I use this year, whether it be fox, coyotes, but for coyotes and foxes, this is the top two right here. However, I will say that the Top Dog Predator bait worked really good on them red foxes that I was catching in those trench set. I would pair this with Vixen Elixir, which is also made by Hoosier Trapper Supply. It would catch the absolute mess out of some red foxes. So if you got a red fox, I would highly suggest the Top Dog Predator bait or Time of Death bait. It seemed to attract both of them really good, and then pair it with Vixen Elixir or good old lightning in a bottle. But anyway, let's move on to the lures so I can keep talking about it, so y'all can get a list together. So first off, we've got Cavens Canine Force, we have Cavens Minnesota Red, we have Dunlap Lures Hostile Gland Lure, Dunlap Lures Muskrat Lure, Hoosier Trapper Supply, this is Vixen Elixir, Cavens Gusto, you know I'm going to have this, and you also know I'm going to have Dunlap Lures Lightning in a Bottle. Okay, so now that we've got everything spoken for, the best combinations that I had this year is the Time of Death bait by Dunlap and Lightning in a Bottle by Dunlap. And then that was like I had one trap, I caught like 12 critters out of it, 12, 15 critters. I caught so many, I had to pull the trap because the anchor was getting progressively pulled out from where I caught in the range a lot. I had to pull the trap up, move it to the other side, tough the grass, and put the trap back in the ground because I was catching so many animals, which is great. I loved it. I loved it. But this is a really good combination from Dunlap. I love this combo. And then, like I said, y'all know I've been using a Gland lure that I made, but I'm not going to talk about it because it's really good. I hate to be stingy about it, but I found a mixture that works really well, and I don't want to let the secret out of the hat, so I'm not going to talk about it. I'm actually going to get it completely off the table. Anyway, now let's go back. Gusto. I didn't use a whole lot of Gusto this year, I will be honest. I used some of it. Like, I didn't use it on every set, a lot of sets with my Hiawatha Valley, like y'all were seeing, mainly because I was throwing my Gland lure with it, just to see if the Gland lure worked. I tried the Gland lure with all the baits that you see here, with my Gland lure just to see, and I also made some double punch hole sets with just my Gland lure in it to see if it would catch, and it did, and it produced. So it kind of knocked out whether it was the specific bait I was using and whatever. So what else can I say about it? Let's see. And then of course I use Red Fox, Coyote, and Coyote urine. That's basically the only two urines I use, Red Fox and Coyote. I don't ever mess with Gray Fox urine. I've never had a lot of success using Gray Fox urine. Maybe I didn't use enough of it or at the right spot or time, who knows, but I spent like 2 years using Red Fox or Gray Fox urine and never had a lot of success with it, so I quit buying it. Now I will say this muskrat lure, whenever I made a catch on, unless it was like some stinky lightning in a bottle, say it was 2 Gland lures and a bait, I'd come back after a catch and put some muskrat lure in that set, and it would help pinpoint that animal exactly where I wanted them to. So I really like that little trick a lot. So thanks, Don, if you're out there. I appreciate the tip, buddy, on using this stuff. It worked great. I'm also going to plug in here, if you want some turkey calls before spring gets here, make sure to go to Facebook on the pages the pages section of Facebook and look up Skull Dragger Custom Calls. This is his logo right here. Y'all know I do some work with him. Absolutely fantastic mouth calls and slate calls and box calls, crow calls. Send him a message, tell him what you want, whether you want a slate, crow, diaphragm, whatever, box call, whatever kind of call you want, and message him, tell him Isaac sent you or Carolina Coyote sent you, and get you some calls before the season gets in, because it's about to be here before we know it, we'll blink it, it'll be here. So if you want to make sure you get one, make sure to hit him up. So if I had to pick amongst all this stuff right here, what I'm going to use, this is empty, so we're just going to discard that one. But if I had to pick amongst all this stuff, 2 baits, 2 lures to use all year long, what am I going to pick? Well, you ought to know it's going to be Cavens Hiawatha Valley, and you ought to know it's going to be Dunlap Time of Death bait. Reason I'm doing this because there's a lot of people out there that just getting started and don't have $200 to drop on baits and lures. So Lightning in a Bottle by Dunlap Lures, and I'm gonna say, oh goodness, maybe 3 lures. Let's do 3 lures because I can't make up my mind. Hostile Gland lure, and then Minnesota Red by Cavens. That is going to... No. I lied. Gusto. That's it. No, 4. We can't... it's so good. You can't... Oh my God. Like, the different scenarios, whether you're chasing a Red Fox, a Coyote, or it's a remake, you know, with the muskrat lure. I've got to have something Red Fox. So Minnesota Red. There we go. That is it. Minnesota Red, Lightning in a Bottle, Gusto, Hostile Gland lure, Hiawatha Valley, and Time of Death bait. That is the 4 lures, 2 baits. You can do so much damage with that right there, let me tell you. What caught the most what? That's the question everybody wants to know. Well, what did you catch Red Foxes on? What did you catch Coyotes on? What did you catch Gray? What did you catch Bobcat? You know, whatever. What I caught the most Coyotes on this year is Lightning in a Bottle, Time of Death bait, that combo, and then Hiawatha Valley, and my Gland lure that I made. I caught, on my Gland lure this year, I caught 20 Coyotes on my Gland lure this year. It's a lot of Coyotes, and I was tickled to death that it worked that good. So I've got the mixture wrote down, and I'll never forget it because it's too dang good to forget. But this right here is deadly. Now my Red Foxes, like I said earlier, Top Dog Predator bait and Vixen Elixir was the main attraction for those. Was Top Dog Predator bait, Vixen Elixir, both made by Hoosier Trapper Supply. I don't know how many Red Foxes I caught. I can't remember. All but 2 of them got caught by this right here. And every red fox I caught this year got caught in a trench set versus the last red fox I caught in a flat set, which was the one that was giving me a run for my money that I caught that night that my girlfriend didn't get out of the truck, if you remember that. That was the last red fox I caught, and it was in a flat set, like I said. Every other one I caught was with this combo right here. Now, I will say, after I kind of burn out on these 3 baits right here, yeah, those 3 baits right there, I switched up and started using the No BS Lures R-Case Predator bait. It worked pretty good. It's got a smell that's it's very different. It's kind of almost sweet smelling, like it's a summer type bait. It's not very loud whatsoever, like compared to these 2 right here. These 2 are pretty decently loud, Top Dog Predator bait and Hiawatha Valley. They're decently loud, and the Time of Death bait lure or bait is only, I mean, all it is ground up mice. That's it. That's all it is. So it's very subtle. It's not stinky at all. It's not like you're kind of like mouse, rat, pee. That's what if that's what you're thinking. That's not what it smells like. Y'all wanted to know what I used, and that right there, that's it. I've only got a little bit of Top Dog Predator bait Arctic left, as you can see. It's not a whole lot left. This, on the other hand, the Arctic Top Dog Predator bait, now that stuff is strong. It's basically taking Top Dog Predator bait and putting lightning in a bottle in it and mixing it up. That's basically what it smells like. It reeks. It reeks. Now, with all these bait and lures right here in front of me, I get asked all the time, Isaac, why do you use sheep's wool? It's simple. It's very, very simple. One, it's eye appealing. Like, look, it's just fur. I mean, it's literally sheep's wool. It's unclean sheep's wool. It smells like a sheep. It smells like an animal. It is eye appealing. I'm gonna set these 2 down real quick, but not out of sight. It's eye appealing. It smells like an animal. And you think about all these animals, or all the critters out there, when the coyote catches a rabbit or a mouse or whatever, or deer, whatever, it's got fur attached to it. It smells like an animal. That's the whole gesture behind it. And it also helps, like with your really pureed meats, baits that you're using, like the Time of Death bait or the Rage, or like a lure. I can take a little punch hole and put that very finely ground up meat in there, and I can take this right here, and it kind of acts like a plunger, if you will, or something like that, to help push that bait all the way down to the bottom of the hole to where it's out of reach for the critter that comes by. That way you're not getting your bait stolen all the time and whatnot. So it kind of helps push that bait down in there and doubles as extra fragrance of fur or whatever. So that's why I use sheep's wool. I went through 2 bags this year. Well, 1.5. This is my 2nd bag that I'm on, so basically a bag and a half this year. I know it's a lot of sheep's wool, but it's pretty cheap and it's not hard to find. Amazon sends it to your house really easy. But if you want to support your trappers, go to F&T website, F&T Traders Post, I think is what it's called. If you just search F and then the and symbol and T, trapping, it'll take you straight to the website. Or at least show you on Google review, whatever, or Google suggestions, whatever. F&T Trading Post is what it's called, or Who's Your Trapper Supply. If you go to those 2 websites, you will find everything that you see here, including the sheep's wool. You can get all this stuff right here, and both companies send it fairly quick. I mean, you can order this stuff, and depending on what day of the week you order it, you may see it by the end of the week or the first of the next week. I mean, they're pretty snappy, like 7 to 9 days ish, and you'll have it most of the time. And that's just with standard shipping, so you can increase it, whatever. And if you spend enough money on these websites, they give you a free item. So you spend $200 on stuff, $300 on stuff, you can get a free item. Now, obviously, the more money you spend, the higher price that item's gonna be. I love those websites. They're awesome. They are awesome. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please smash that like button. And if you've used any of these baits that are here in front of me, please drop a comment down below. Tell me which one's your favorite, which one I got you hooked on. If you've had any luck on any other name brand kind of baits or whatever, please drop that down in the comments. I'm always up to trying new stuff, even though it's hard for me to stop using what works. I still like to hear back from you guys what works for you. In case you're wondering, this bottle with the RIP label is Vixen Elixir still. Y'all be sure to drop those down in the comments so I can find out. Maybe I'll be able to catch 20 more coyotes next year off of something you suggested for me to use. So until next time, y'all take it easy, and we'll see you on the next one.